We get started. Hi everyone, welcome to our April Talis Aspire Product Update. I'm Juan Veloso, Marketing Manager at Technology from Sage. So today I'm joined by our Head of Product, Talis Scott Gibbons, and our Product Manager, Georgia Gibbons. Some housekeeping rules. If you have any audio issues or video issues, please leave the call and rejoin selecting Connect with Computer Audio. We do encourage some conversation among our attendees, so please do connect with each other in the chat. If you have any questions, please post them in the Q&A box, and then we'll read them out and respond them at the end of the session. And just so you know, this session is recorded and automatically sent to you after the webinar. So moving on to today's agenda, first of all, Georgia will give us a live demo of Talis Engage. Scott will give us a quick update on the bookmarking redesign, and then Scott will give us a quick update on the 2025 roadmap. And lastly, we'll answer your questions. So with that said, over to you, Georgia.
Thank you so much. So let me just quickly share my screen. Here we go. So you guys should be seeing Talis Aspire. Let me know if you can see that. Yeah, okay, perfect. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about Talis Engage, showing you some upload features and the settings options that you'll have for your tenancy. So let's start with the settings options. So within the admin area for system administrators, you have the settings area, which brings you to this page right here. And you'll find at the bottom of languages, branding and importances, we have a new area called Talis Engage. Now this is currently turned off for uploads, but I'm going to turn that on for you now. And when you click allow, you're going to see a bunch of different settings. This is what I was talking about before in previous update webinars, where we were talking about how configurable the settings can be. So for copyright clearance customers, so our TADC customers, you'll have 3 options for how you upload to books or journal articles. And for everybody else, you'll just have the second 2. So I'm going to show you as a TADC customer for today so that you can see all the different uploads options that we have. So first of all, I'm going to have this option clicked here, which is basically to talk about requiring all uploads for books and journal articles to have an ISBN or a DOI. So you wouldn't be able to upload it to a book or journal article that doesn't have that. So I'm going to save this change for now. I'm going to also unclick this, and I'll explain to you later. So once that's been saved, I'm going to go to my list, and I'm going to go to my Engage demo list. And I'm going to go to this item right here, the Study Skills Handbook. And I am going to upload a file to that. So first of all, I'm going to browse my files. I would like to choose this one. This is my file I'd like to upload here. Now on this page here, this modal, what you'll see is you were able to see the upload happening. And for academics here, as they upload, they have some choices. They can make sure that their class commenting in Engage is turned on, or they might want to turn off the download to the original document if, for example, it's a case study or something that you don't want to be downloaded. So those are automatically turned on, and you can choose to deselect those. When you click next, because we are running this through a copyright check, we have the copyright selection turned on. We pick the date that we want, which is today's date. We can choose from an ISBN. We have a drop down here, and the ISBN you can choose could be more than one. The students are automatically populated from the hierarchy. And I'm going to say that this is chapter 2, and I'm going to click submit. Now, whilst this is submitting, some things to think about here is you have obviously some things that you've probably seen with digitizations. So needing of the chapter name, start page and end page, and all of that good stuff. And that is because this is going through the copyright check that you would know in DC. So it's the same copyright check for digitizations, checking that this book with an ISBN or a DOI for an article can be cleared through copyright. So it says my upload is successful. This doesn't necessarily mean it's passed copyright check. So let's refresh. And what you'll see here is that it has passed the copyright check because you can now see the View Online button. So let's click on that View Online button and see that resource in action. So as I clicked online, you have the Engage player opening up for you here. So let's talk about some of the fun features of Engage. So first of all, you've got the option to have class comments on, which is where students can post multiple different comments and they can all be visible here. You as the educator can leave some comments by highlighting. You can also drop a pin on a different area of the text or the document. And you can see I'm an academic here because I've got a little academic sign. I can agree with comments here, and I can also reply to comments too. In the personal notes section, I can just highlight and add my own notes. And this is just for me. Nobody else can see that. Now, for example, if you are an educator and you decide that actually I just want this resource to be used for reading, I don't want class commenting to take place, I can actually turn that off and save that. And then what happens is right now, what you can see is that tab disappears and it's only personal notes. But what we have coming in is that both tabs will still be visible, but there'll be a note to say that that has been turned off by their academic. So they don't get confused if for one resource on a list, this is turned on and one resource, it has been turned off. You also have the opportunity here to change the allowances for download of the original document. So right now it's turned on. If you click download, you can click that you can download the resource. Now, if you click that you don't want this to be on, currently when you click here, the resource option has gone. But what will be here soon, which is in development, which is you can still click on resource, but you'll get a modal explaining that this option has been turned off by your educator, your academic. So again, there's no confusion why it might be different in one area of the reading list of a resource to another. Now, also here, you can search for different words inside of this document and it could take you straight to there. You can navigate by pages here, as you just saw, next page, previous page. Also, if you just want to read and you don't want all the annotations crowding your screen, you can turn them off to the side completely. So there's lots of things that you can do here. Down in the corner, you've also got a page count as well. And that is essentially Talis Engage. What's so great about Talis Engage is all of the communications that can happen. You can have the flipped classroom right embedded inside of your reading list. Now I'm going to go back to our list here, okay? So we have right now the settings set to only uploads can happen to books and journal articles that have an ISBN or DOI. This one here has no ISBN. So if I click upload file, you're going to get a modal here that says there's missing resource metadata, which means that you don't have an ISBN or a DOI for the copyright check. So you will not be able to upload to those kinds of resources. Also, if you go to different resource types, which we have turned off at the moment, and you can't upload to them as well. So you have the control as the library. Now, if we go back to the admin area, Talis Engage, I'm going to change it now to allow users to upload files to books or journal articles, regardless of whether or not they have an ISBN or DOI. So this is great for if you don't have a copyright clearance included within your Talis Aspire package. So if we go to back to my lists, Engage demo list, as you saw before, when we clicked here to add an upload, that wasn't available. Now it is. I click on that. You come to the same first page as you did before, browse your files. Now, I might choose a different option here. So that has been uploaded. I might say, right, I don't want class comments on to be there for now, but this is perfect. And I'm going to submit. Now, because there's no copyright check, you didn't have to go to the second modal and add all of that extra information. We're going to refresh. We now have a View Online button. When you click it, You get exactly the same page with your document displayed. And because we decided we didn't want to turn on class commenting immediately, that is automatically turned off, and you can configure those settings here again if you've changed your mind. Now, if we go to the settings area again, you'll see the settings area quite a bit in this demo. We can also talk about not allowing uploads to books or journal articles at all. We've heard from some of our customers that the way they want to use Engage is to just upload academic created resources like lecture notes, and they don't want anything to be uploaded to books or journal articles, just documents and things like that. So we can save these changes here, go back to our settings, go back to my list, and go to a book here, and we aren't able to upload to them because it's a book. So you've turned that ability off. Now back to the admin area. Doesn't really matter what I have going on here because I'm going to be demonstrating the other resource types. So I'm going to click here. Now, depending on what you choose above, you can only pick one of the three options for book or journal article at a time. This section here is about allowing uploads to other resource types. So we're talking your images, your documents, your audio files, any resource type that you can add within the add resource, but again, no video and no streaming of YouTube videos at this time. So let me save those changes. I am going to go back to my list, Engage demo. So here I have a document. It's the week 1 study skills handbook assignment. So they've done the reading, my class has done the reading. I want them to follow the assignment now. So I'm going to upload that assignment here. Study skills assignment. Same as before, you have the same option, submit. Upload successful. Let's have a refresh. View online button is available. So I uploaded a Word document, and this is exactly what it looks like here. So you can see exactly the document that you wanted to be uploaded. So we had PDFs before, now we have a Word document, and you're able to do the same things where you can add your comments by highlighting and also by pin dropping. And what's great about this is that you can also go into the document before your class see it, add all of your questions, and that way they can then start to answer the questions or focus on specific parts of the document that you want them to. Same for an image, right? I've got a primary source. I'm a history teacher and want to talk about some images that we've seen of books from the past. I'm going to browse my file and I'm going to pick a JPEG file. And I'm going to submit that. Now, these aren't going for a copyright check because they are books, sorry, they're not books or journal articles. Let me refresh. I'm going to click the view online button. And there you have it. You have your picture there, where you could do the same thing, where you can highlight certain parts of your picture, or you can do a pin drop, just as you did before. Personal notes and class commenting are available for all of these different file types. You can obviously, again, change what you have here to suit the needs of your class and the resource that you have. Now, one thing to note is we've implemented a rule so that if a view online button is already available, for example, it goes off to a resource that you have paid for, such as a license or an online ebook, for example, you will not be able to upload a file to this. And the reason that we did that was so that we could ensure that the clicks that were going through to the view online button were not being skewed. We spoke to a couple of institutions who spoke about how that data is really important for their acquisitions. So we're going to be, we put this in place to ensure that those data points aren't skewed. For example, if you were able to upload to this and click view online, it would go off to your Engage resource rather than the full resource that you might be paying for. So to include some supplementary adapting. So if you wanted to upload to here, you could go to add resource, and you could manually add a resource, and you could say lecture notes to support this this bit of reading here, and that would then go to the Engage resource that you have there. Fun. If you could stop sharing my screen, please, and if you could go to the next PowerPoint slide, that's the word I was looking for. That would be really helpful.
Yes, 2 seconds.
Thank you. Actually, I can stop my share from this side.
You see your screen?
Yes, I can. So when we have our launch, which we plan to be towards the end of April, which is really, really soon, so it's really exciting. The settings area will change slightly for the system administrators. So right now you'll be able to configure your language, branding and importance settings. And then once we go live, you'll see that Talis Engage settings. However, you won't see the section beforehand like I showed you, because what you'll need to do is to get in touch with our operations team. So what we need to do is we need to set you up with a link towards Engage to make sure that you can open up all of your file types. And once that has been done, you'll be able to configure Engage to suit you. So you'll be faced with this screen. If you click the button at the bottom, which says contact us, you'll be taken to the page where you can write a support ticket that goes off to our operations team, where you can request Engage to be set up for your institution. Is there anything else that I wanted to mention at this point? No, I don't think so. So I will stop talking about Engage right now. It's been really, really exciting to build, and I really hope that you enjoy using it. But that's it for me, I think, for now, Juan. So I think I'll pass over to Scott, who's got some things to talk about the bookmarking redesign.
Thanks, Georgia. We've got quite a few questions on Engage we'll get back to at the end as well in our Q&A. So
brilliant.
Go to the next slide, please. Thank you, Juan. So just a very brief update on the bookmarking redesign. I know a number of you have been testing the proof of concept. We've got another update coming to that next week, the edit screen, as we move forward to that. So big thank you for those feedback that you've had so far. We'll keep updating those screens as we go forward over the next few weeks. The next slide, please, Juan. So we'll make further announcements in May and when that's ready to go live. Have a think about when it's going to be suitable to go live for your tenancy. The screens are different. We'll do more updates in June when it should be live, but people don't have to switch straight away. And you do have at least to the end of the year. So there's no rush on this. You'll be able to see it by yourselves as a librarian without the rest of your institution seeing it as well if you wish. So that's all there is to say on bookmarking. We'll keep updating Discord channel on that. So if you are involved, you'll probably see another update Discord next week with the new edit screens. Then next slide, please, Juan. So the bookmarking redesign is part of 3 things that we've been doing to bookmarking. So the first one is the updated extension, which came out beginning of this year, last year, in fact, and it's available for all the major browsers. So whichever browser you're seeing, you should be able to get that extension from the browser store. Obviously, we're doing a bookmarking workflow now, which to increase the usability, to make it easier and quicker to bookmark new resources, for better academic adoption. This is something that we were asked for at the Insights conference a couple of years ago to make bookmarking easier. So this is where these 3 things have come from. And the third thing, which will be coming after bookmarking, is to improve the add resource screen. So we've had a lot of people say they wanted to have their Discovery Engine and Nielsen book data available, rather than have one or the other. Also, other sources such as LibGuides, open access resources, etc., they can add at that stage. So we're looking at improving the add resource screen, making some changes to it so you can have more databases. If you've got 2 Discovery Engines, you'll be able to add both of those. Also more customizable headings. So at the moment, we've got search your library. Well, you might want to say, search your own name, whatever you call it. You know, if you've got your own name for it in Southampton, one search or something like that, you'll be able to put that in. You'll be able to put your own text there rather than what we put. So it's a bit more friendly for your library. And that's in the early planning stages now. We're just looking at some UX designs. And Anna, who's our UX designer on this, will be going out in a couple of weeks to ask for people for some initial feedback on that, to see what you think about those changes. The next screen one. So just a quick update on what we've got planned later and for the rest of 2025. So we've got Engage coming in April, Bookmarking coming in May, all going well. We've got a few LTI improvements that we're looking at. And we've got, after that, Add Resource, which I just talked about. We've got some work to improve list analytics, which are well in need of an overhaul. And we've been looking at what those might entail. We're also going to be bringing in tagging, which I know we did a discovery on last year, so we're involved in speaking to Lisa about that. And we've got some good idea of what tagging will mean. And we've got this something called continuous improvements. This is where we get tickets from the ideas log and make them up into pieces of work and hopefully meet your needs there. We've got a lot of continuous improvement tickets, and we're just going to be selecting some of those to put in. It fills out sometimes bits of work where we're doing pieces of work and we've got edges around it that we can fill out with the odd ticket here and there. So we're doing more of those later this year as we go through the summer. I think that's it. Over to you, Juan.
Yes, so just very quickly, our next webinar will be on the 11th of June, and we'll be sharing the registration link with the follow-up email with recording of this session. With that said, I think it is Q&A time. So, Georgia, a question for you is regarding Engage. Is there any chance for admins to test Engage before turning it on?
Yes, there is. So on that screen that I showed you before, where it says contact us, when you raise a support ticket to our support team, you can specifically ask for certain individuals with roles. For example, you could be just system administrators can trial it before opening it for your whole institution wide. However, obviously, you're probably better off doing it on like a privated list or a draft list, because anything that is published will be able to be seen. So that's how we would suggest to test it. But yes, you will be able to test it based on certain roles within the institution.
Thanks.
Quite a few people have asked that one in the chat as well.
Yeah. Another question is to do with digitizations and if any of their current digitizations move to Engage.
At this point, no, but we have been hearing more and more excitement about wanting the Engage player to be part of, when you open up a digitization, to have those digitizations in the Engage player. So if that's something you guys are really excited about and you play around with Engage and you would like to see that, please do give us that feedback, as it's something we would like to then explore if it's something that you're interested in.
Thanks. Another question is regarding the usage of Talis Engage and whether it will be recorded in advanced commits.
So for analytics right now, we are going to be revisiting that when we have a look at our analytics piece at the end of this year. And I think it's probably right now, the answer to give is just all of our analytics will be looking at that a little bit later in the year.
Okay. And this is a question for you both, George and Scott, is to do with an extent of some sort of limit around how much can be digitized or uploaded using Engage. I presume it's around the file size or number of uploads.
Could
So
be
in
a couple
terms,
of things, couldn't it,
oh,
George?
sorry,
It could
Scott,
be,
you go.
sorry,
Yeah.
could be file size, or it could be copyright.
That's what I
So
was going to say.
go ahead.
So in terms of copyright, it depends on your copyright license clearance company that you are integrated with, CLA, for example. They might have a 10% cap. So that would all still be in place, depending on which one you use. In terms of the file upload, I believe we have a 250 megabyte limit. I will double check that just to make sure, but I believe that is what we currently do have. And we are planning to put that on the upload modal as well, so that it's super clear, so that you know how much upload you have available.
Okay. We do have a couple of additional questions. So one of them is to do with the some sort of OCR, and I think this is when you searched for a term using Engage. So it was to do with, is there some sort of embedded OCR or text recognition, or is that depending on the file uploaded?
I believe it is embedded. I will double check. I think it is. Yeah, it is embedded. It's a question I've actually never been asked before. But yeah, no, it's part of our player, and you'll be able to, despite the different file types that you saw were uploaded, you could still search the text that was available in there. So it's embedded.
An additional question around copyright checking. So this is from Nick asking, does the copyright check look for other chapters already uploaded to the same module in the same way as it happens with TADC, or resources uploaded via Engage appear in TADC at all?
I believe it works in the same way as TADC.
I think this is a question around integration. So it is, how will this work with Blackboard or other VLE integration?
In terms, oh, sorry, Scott, I can see you're ready to.
I was going to say, do you want me to? Yeah, this is you would integrate Aspire just in the same way you currently do. So you wouldn't integrate each item. You'd integrate Aspire. So if it's section or a whole list, you'd integrate that, and this will just open up as a new screen or within a screen, depending on how you set it up to work. So it shouldn't work any different effectively.
This is a question from Peter. It says, how do items with resources uploaded present in reviews? So this is the question around whether staff can review list check from the review screen. And also a question around if customers using DCS rather than TADC, this is around copyright checking, and if they will have that option.
Okay, I can definitely go for the second one first. So in terms of DCS, you might have heard me talk about this before. So we've been in talks with the CLA about being able to include this as part of their current offering. And right now they don't. They're going through a rebuild of DCS. And essentially for those integrated DCS customers, they won't be able to use their integrated copyright for uploads. Right now, we are constantly trying to speak with the CLA to make sure that we can work with them on a solution for this, but right now it's not something that we're able to provide.
As for the reviewing part, so how do items with resources upload present in reviews? It's the click online button, so you'd be able to review that from within reviews when you can check online.
We've got a question around file formats. So what type of file formats can be uploaded to Engage? Quite
a few. I think what's probably best is maybe after this one, I can send you a list and it can go out with the recording, so people have that option there.
Okay.
I mean, very brief summary, it's pretty much all the Office types, PDFs, and nearly every image type. Yeah.
So, and some audio files as well. So I just want to make sure that I've got a comprehensive list for you guys.
Okay. We're on time, but we have time for one last couple of questions, just some quick questions. One of them is to do with class comments and what happens to them on rollover.
For rollover, the class comments are deleted because you're creating a new resource. So, well, I guess they're not deleted. They stay on your previous list, but then when you roll over, you get a brand new resource that is clean of all comments. So if you don't roll over, you'll have the class comments from the previous cohort.
Okay. And the last question is to do with cost. If there is an additional cost to Engage.
Currently, the offering for Talis Engage is included in your subscription.
Perfect.
There are other questions, Juan. Shall we feed back to those in the document? Because I don't have time to answer them all today, but we can certainly feed back to those when we send out the video.
Exactly. We'll include those answers to those questions in the follow-up email. Perfect. So I think that's it for today. Thank you very much for everyone for joining the webinar, and I hope you have a great day, rest of your day. We'll follow up with the webinar recording and also answers to all the questions you asked throughout the webinar. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.